Okay, before I tell you a little more about this day and the next, I need to speak a few words in Portuguese, so please bear with me for a few seconds. Olá pessoal, a partir deste ponto vou fazer a narração toda em inglês, pois para brasileiros é muito fácil encontrar informações sobre a Basílica em português na internet. De fato, o que eu vou narrar em inglês agora é uma combinação de informações que encontrei através de uma procura pelo Google. Back to English now. I just said I was going to narrate the rest of the video in English because it is extremely easy to find information about the city and the Basilica on the web, but mostly in Portuguese. Some pages of the Basilica's official website have been translated to English, Spanish and Italian though, so it's always good to check if the information you're looking for is available in your language.
Hey folks, look where I am at the Basilica. I got here finally, just before 2 p.m. on a Friday, the 29th of September 2017. And it took me more than a week and a half. I left Monday last week and it's Friday now. And I finally got here. Cool, huh? It's not much, not much to say really. Haven't heard any trumpets or no angels came to greet me. But I'm here. More later. Bye.
Boa tarde, tudo bem? Onde é que a gente pega o certificado de...
Secretaria de Pastoral, aqui ó.
Pra lá? Ah, aqui?
Isso,
Já?
menos escada no caso.
Tem escada?
Tem.
Ah, onde é que eu posso deixar a bike?
Eu subi a rampa aqui, só entrar do lado também você consegue.
Ah, tá. Obrigado, viu? Boa tarde. Para pegar o certificado de conclusão da peregrinação.
Secretaria de Pastoral.
É ali?
É dentro da igreja.
Ah, tá.
Ou você entra aqui por dentro, atravessa lá do coral, ou você desce por aqui, tem uma escada aqui. Você subiu a escada, você já está ali.
Mas como é que eu faço com a bicicleta? Tem que subir com a bicicleta. Tá muito pesada.
Então,
Melhor é
por aqui assim e dá a volta.
Aqui por trás?
Isso, você entrou aqui.
Tá.
Você entrou aqui, você virou aqui, depois você vai sair aqui atrás.
Ah, tá. Não é nessa rampa aqui não, então.
Não.
Tá bom.
Aliás, você pode até subir, então. Você subiu aqui, desceu e virou à esquerda também.
Ah, se eu subir, seguir reto e virar à esquerda lá atrás. Vira à esquerda lá atrás. Tá bom, obrigado, viu? Tá muito cheio de gente ali, não vai dar pra passar com a bicicleta, não. É.
É o amor de Jesus, é a proteção, Ave Maria, as luzes do Espírito que nos envolve. E nós queremos saudar Nossa Senhora, o anjo que anunciou, né? Como é que foi mesmo? O anjo do Senhor anunciou a Maria. Eis aqui a serva do Senhor.
Boa tarde. Tudo bem? Certificado de conclusão do Caminho da Fé. Aqui?
Pode passar, vai.
Tá, muito obrigado. Boa tarde. Você precisa só da credencial? Tá, aham. Sai impresso no computador. From the hotel elevator, do elevador do hotel. The facts I'm about to tell you are the result of some Google searches on a few topics I found to be of interest. As I mentioned in my previous video, I struggled to find a hotel room, because 13 days later the Basilica was celebrating the 300 years since the small statue of Our Lady was found by a group of fishermen in the river. The legend is quite interesting and I encourage you to find out more if you want. The city has a population of just under 40,000 inhabitants, but it was expecting a surge of over 200,000 visitors on the day of the celebration alone. Once I got my room and did the usual things like unpacking, having a shower and so on, I left the hotel under rain to initially go to the bus station to buy my bus ticket to one of the main bus stations in São Paulo, the capital, from which I would have to board another bus to go back home. By the time I bought my ticket and had a bite to eat, as I was starving, night had fallen. So this initial part of the slideshows and videos, you will see images of the town center of Aparecida do Norte and the Basilica at night. The National Shrine of Our Lady is unique in the sense that it is the largest sanctuary in the world exclusively dedicated to the Virgin Mary, Jesus' mother. It is also believed to be the second largest Catholic church in the world, behind only of St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. The entire area of the complex covers 1.3 million square meters, of which 143,000 square meters are the buildings that compose the Basilica, and 285,000 square meters of parking spaces, making it one of the largest parking lots in South America. They are rehearsing, estão ensaiando. Pictures don't make justice as how big this place is. As fotos não fazem justiça ao tamanho dessa igreja.
The architectural design of the shrine dates from 1947 and is signed by Benedito Calixto Neto, who traveled that year to North America to study modern religious architecture. Calixto's project is a more simplified but larger version of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington. It was not a great innovation, because the Basilica follows the Neo-Romanesque style, which dates back to the first millennium and gained a revival in the early 20th century.
This place is big. I agree that the Vatican is probably bigger, but this thing is huge. And it's raining now. Going to get wet. Going back to the hotel.
Se perdeu na hora que ela falou assim, vou parar de conversar com você, mas agarrou você, ela ficou nervosa. Se eu não segurar, você caiu.
It's too dark. The bell tower changes color. After a good night of sleep, I woke up early as the hotel's checkout time was 11 a.m. and my bus to the capital was leaving in the early afternoon. So I had a little more than a couple of hours to do some sightseeing during this cloudy day. There is much to see and I would recommend for you to stay an extra day if you can afford it. As you can see in the next picture, in this booth they sell candles of various sizes. One of the many interesting spaces in the Basilica is the Chapel of Candles, which is a place where the faithful burn candles, often more than a meter long, and do their prayers. The room is equipped with a system to exhaust the smoke and eliminate the wax of the candles placed on the candle bases. At certain times of the day, the bases are automatically heated, which causes the wax to melt and be taken by pipes to the basement of the Basilica, where they are then again cooled, transformed into plates, and sent to recycling. About 10 tons of wax are removed on weekends of great movement in the Basilica. If you, like me, arrive by bicycle, you'll be glad to know that there are 500 bicycle parking spaces in the complex. But if not, there are 3,000 parking spaces for passenger vehicles or cars, 2,000 spaces for buses, 600 spaces for motorcycles, 25 spaces for motorhomes and caravans, and even a helipad for those lucky enough to arrive by helicopter. The complex also has a space dedicated to look after horses for the more traditional pilgrims and visitors that arrive on a horseback. The basement of the Basilica houses several shops, a food court where you can see the food being prepared, and the HD studios of the Basilica's TV channel, which broadcasts nationally over satellite and cable.
I found one of the more interesting spaces in the Basilica to be the Room of Promises, also known as the Room of Miracles. This room is dedicated to the people who leave behind one or more personal items as a gesture of gratitude for having received an ex voto, in other words, a grace from the Virgin Mary or God. The word derives from the expression ex voto succepto, which means for a grace achieved in Latin. Among many, one of the most impressive features of this large room are the over 100,000 real photos of real people that the ceiling of the entire room is lined with. The room receives approximately 19,000 ex votos per month, and in October this number often reaches 30,000. Some of the memorabilia exposed there are from famous people and celebrities, which attracts the attention of many, such as the helmet of the famous Formula One racing driver Ayrton Senna. Before the existing basilica was built, an old church, built on the top of the Morro do Cruzeiro, or Cruzeiro Hill, in 1888, was the place where the little statue of Our Lady was housed. This church is now known as the Basilica Histórica, or Historic Basilica or Old Basilica. In 1893, the Old Basilica received the title of Episcopal Sanctuary of Our Lady of Conception, Aparecida. In 1909, Archbishop Duarte Leopoldo e Silva celebrated the solemn declaration of the title of Minor Basilica to the now Old Basilica. The honor was awarded by Pope Pius X in 1908. The historic Basilica is a listed building, and in 2004 it was closed to undergo a restoration, and its reopening was in February 2015. The historic basilica attracts a number of visitors due to its privileged position above the city and can be reached by cable car or by the ramp leading to the higher part of the city. If you choose to ride the cable car, in addition to enjoying a charming ride, and that's not out of personal experience, and a privileged view of the new basilica and the entire city from the lookout tower that is at the top of the hill, which entrance is also paid for. The tower is 30 meters high, with a 360 view of the entire region and 2 panoramic elevators that hold up to 12 people at a time. At the top of the tower there is a 23-meter high cross, molded in steel, being a point of faith and devotion for pilgrims who visit the old basilica. This video is now nearly at the end, but just as an additional information, just the support center for pilgrims, located outside the church by the parking lot, has 380 shops and an ample food court, with 874 restrooms or toilets, of which 55 are adapted for disabled access. Over 2,000 people work daily to maintain the entire complex running, in addition to the thousands of volunteers. With a few exceptions, like the Brasilia Tower, The tower building next to the church that houses the big clock, which was built with a federal government grant, the entire complex was financed by donations from devout followers. I hope you enjoyed this video depicting the moments I've lived after completing the 600-kilometer pilgrimage by bike on the Caminho da Fé or Faith's Way in 2017. This video now completes the series. After my morning visit to the Basilica, I returned to the hotel, did my checkout and rode to Aparecida's bus station. The bus company that took me to the capital accepted my bike as it was in their cargo hold, so I didn't need to disassemble the bike. But the next company instructed that the bike should be packaged, and if it got in touch or in contact with other passengers' luggage, the bike should not damage or make their luggage dirty with grease and oil. So I partially disassembled the bike and packaged it in cling film, which was accepted by the company. Before the video ends, I would like to ask for your help in maintaining the blog and the YouTube channel. I don't do this work expecting a financial benefit in return, but I have costs such as hosting and domain reservation, and also the creation of content demands a lot of my time. In fact, it takes me a lot longer to do this than it did to ride the entire way. So if you're feeling generous, there is a link in the description below through which you can contribute with a small donation to help maintain the blog running and with coffee to keep me going late nights. If this content has been useful to you, please click on the thumbs up button in YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and share the video and blog post with your friends, so that the existence of the Brazilian Faith Way is known to the world. Thank you for your time and Bom Caminho.